Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Cigar Pulpit, Cigar Pulpit, Cigar Pulpit, Cigar Pulpit, Cigar Pulpit. It's the Cigar Pulpit podcast starring Nick, the Bishop of the Burn. And here is another sermon from the pulpit. Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and today, guys, it's after Thanksgiving, and I don't know how it is for the rest of you in the country, but here in the St. Louis area, we've been hit with a couple rounds of snow and some pretty extreme cold, and I gotta say, it's got me in a funk, and I'm not happy. And so it's one of those things where, I kind of wanted to touch on maybe a serious subject, maybe one of those things that, people are like, oh, that's not real, whatever. I want to talk about seasonal depression a little bit today because it is a real thing. And, I was texting with another person earlier tonight about how I needed a topic for today's show. And he was like, he made a suggestion and it was okay. No offense. But, I kept thinking and he got back to me maybe a little while later and was like, did you come up with something? And I said, man, I'm just a slug. Like I feel like a zombie. I don't feel, into this at all. I have no motivation. The anxiety of the fact that I have all this still to do is rising and causing me, stress. So I'm anxious about not getting my work done, but at the same time, I have no motivation or drive to get my work done. And I'm just kind of in a state of just bleh. And, he is too. And he's been barraged by snow and cold weather, here as well. And so we just both kind of decided that, winter is really kicking our ass early and we're not happy about it. So I figured, you know what? There's a topic. Right there's a topic because I'm sure he and I aren't the only ones that are experiencing this. But this is a cigar show. So let's get a cigar going and then we can talk about, that and whatever else happens to hit the brain. So today, I am going to be smoking a cigar that's going to become relevant here shortly after I do this and the cut and you hear the greatest commercial you've ever heard. And I'm going to be smoking the Montecristo Nicaragua Series. It's a 6x54 Toro, and it is a Nicaraguan Puro blended by A.J. Fernandez. And so we're going to go ahead and just jump right into this, and we're going to cut the cigar. And the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. So head on over to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. So we're going to get the cigar cut and get it going. I was looking at my humidor. I was like, man, what do I want to smoke tonight? And this just kind of spoke to me for a couple of reasons, not the least of which it was something a little different. I've been in a bit of a cigar rut here lately, smoking the same old thing. And while it's not bad. I mean, the stuff I'm smoking I like, but, it's kind of like something different. I will say, I did that episode a little bit back about smoking cold weather, and my God, it has been relevant. I've had a number of wrapper pops in the last couple days, so I need to heed my own advice, but realistically, it's been hard to just, do it. It's cold out, and it's not getting any better, so, whatever, we'll see, but all right, while I give this guy a light, let's listen to the greatest commercial that you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so. They can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, part of the reason that I decided to go ahead and select this is I have one little bit of news. And, you know, it's industry hearsay, but I've heard it from a couple different places, so I'm going to go ahead and go with it. So you know how I've talked about Nicaragua and how the hammer, the United States government's getting ready to bring the hammer down on the Nicaraguan government and impose, you know, basically make some changes to the trade relations that the country has with Nicaragua, which unfortunately will impact our cigars. And it's going to result in really high tariffs, probably removal from the trade agreement that we have. You know, the little compact, I guess. I don't have the acronym in front of me. You know, it's gonna be a thing. It's gonna result in cigar prices going up considerably. Probably it's gonna result in some local shops around you deciding that certain brands that maybe don't sell quite as well, maybe they sold just fine at their current prices, but if you take their current prices and make them like, you know, 40 to 80% higher, you know, maybe it might not sell that well. So, you know, they might be cutting from the shelf. And so it's one of those things you're going to see some differences. So it was one of those things that, there was talk about this, and, you know, the government was taking, statements from people regarding this up through November 19th, and is this question of what's going to happen? Well, I'm hearing the hammer is coming down anywhere. I'm hearing a range of dates. I've heard a couple different dates. So I'm going to give you the range of December 10th through December 12th. Somewhere in that 3-day range, I'm hearing that the United States is going to bring the hammer down on Nicaragua. And unfortunately, that is going to make a difference for those of us who enjoy cigars from Nicaragua. And if a company does not have operations set up in another country, be it Honduras, the Dominican, you know, Mexico, anywhere else that cigars are coming, it's going to be a problem for that company. They're going to have to figure it out. And rumor mill, you know, what have I heard? Rumor mill was that following TAA, the Tobacconist Association of America, little get together, I heard that you know, there were quite a few manufacturers who were scoping out some properties in the Dominican Republic. I'm not saying that they're not colluding. I'm not saying they're colluding. I'm saying that they all basically realized, shit, we got to figure out something because this doesn't look good for us. And they all started looking in the Dominican. So yeah, it's going to be a thing. When this hits, this is going to cause some upheaval in the industry. You're going to see some pretty major change. You're going to see some prices definitely go up, and you're going to see some availability go away. It's just one of those things. So, it's unfortunate, but at the same time, you know, the United States, investigation into Nicaragua. This is not a new thing. This is not something that Donald Trump and the Trump administration kickstarted. This investigation actually started under President Biden, and they were investigating a lot of different claims, unsafe work environment and, whatever, but child labor definitely came into it. It's not good. It's not good at all. And unfortunately, the United States did determine that these things were taking place in Nicaragua. And let's be real. I don't want to I'm not throwing shade at any company in particular. And I would trust that each individual company, obviously, they're not beholden to minimum wage. If they want to pay their people more, they very well could. And so I don't know, what these companies are paying, but let's be real. Part of the reason that Nicaragua has so many cigar companies located there is the labor cost is significantly cheaper. It's significantly cheaper than Honduras, and it's significantly cheaper than the Dominican Republic, and it's definitely cheaper than the United States. I think only J.C. Newman is the only one that's paying anybody to roll cigars in the United States. And they're not even paying that terribly many of them. It's a very small force working in the third story of El Reloj. So, it's what it is. But my point is, though, that there were benefits to setting up in Nicaragua. You had different growing regions that produce different tobaccos. You had cheap labor, that sort of thing. And so now, unfortunately, some of those choices have put them in a position where they have to consider at least setting up separate operations somewhere else, moving operations entirely. That's not the easiest thing, especially if they have land and they're growing their own tobacco. Not all these companies actually grow their own tobacco. Big surprise, I know, but it's true. Not all of them have their own fields. So for those guys, it might be easier to shift the operation somewhere else. It does make me wonder if perhaps this is part of the reason that I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Maybe this is purely speculation on my part. I have no inside knowledge of this whatsoever. It does kind of make me wonder if this is what made Nick Melillo decide to move his operations from Aganorsa to my father, because, my father, they have operations in Honduras. And so they're not really going to be impacted. I mean, look, everybody that's got a foot in Nicaragua is going to be impacted to some degree, but, if they have another foot in another country, then the impact is lessened. So maybe it's a situation where Melillo, saw the writing on the wall. Maybe other people have seen the writing on the wall and have been talking about it for a little while. I mean, truthfully, we've all known that the government in Nicaragua has not exactly been great. I don't think anybody would classify it as a super friendly, power to the people kind of government, So truthfully, some level of problem was always going to crop up. It was either going to be the government of Nicaragua coming after the cigars, the cigar industry people, trying to claim facilities and things like that, and go in the Castro, Cuban route, where they just hey, we own this now. This is ours. Or it could very well, and this is the way it seemingly has gone. It's one of those things where maybe the United States got pissed off at Ortega and decided, you know what, we're going to bring the hammer down on Nicaragua. And I think that's what's going on. So, I guess my point to this is, folks, if your favorite cigar is a Nicaraguan cigar and you've got the ability to stock up between now and December, I'd say December 10th. I'd go ahead and I'd say, if you want to be safe, December 10th through the 12th are the dates that I'm hearing. So, maybe plus or minus a day on that. Maybe you take it to the 9th through the 13th, whatever you want to do. I don't care. It's up to you. I would say that now is the time to be stocking up if you really enjoy a specific Nicaraguan cigar a lot and you want to try and get it at a decent price. Because here's the other thing. And, I'm going to say this, and maybe this might piss off some retailers, because I don't necessarily understand the full retail side of things. You know, maybe what I'm going to say is factually incorrect. Maybe there's a reason for it, but I've always wondered why, the price of a product, if it is raised later, if it's already on the shelf at a store, why would it be raised at the time that the price is raised, even on the product that's already been purchased by the retailer and on sale to the consumer? And so in this case, what I'm saying is, if let's say a retailer were to purchase a box of cigars from a company, and these are Nicaraguan cigars, and let's say they're priced at, and I'm using simple numbers here. Let's say they're priced at $100 a box, $100 a box and $5 a stick. And let's say that is the pre-hammer falling price. Then let's say the government comes in, kicks Nicaragua in the ass, and all of a sudden the price of that box goes from 100 to, I don't know, 180. Let's say it goes from $100 to $180 for the box. All right. Bringing the per stick price from $5 to $9 a piece. Okay. Let's just say that takes place. If that retailer has one box on the shelf, three in storage, 4 boxes of the cigar, but they bought it at the $100 price. One could make the argument that since that's what they paid for it, it shouldn't be raised, that they should sell it at that price and, keep it at the price, the proper price, or that price until they sell through that inventory. And then if they choose to renew or choose to reorder and bring in additional inventory of that cigar at the new $180 price, that it should then be appropriately priced at $180 a box, $9 a stick. Now, I could easily see where a retailer would say, but we need to increase the price because our reorder price is also going to go up. It's going to go from $50 to $90. And so, we need to increase the price of the inventory that we already have in order to pay for the inventory that we're going to reorder and buy. I can understand that. I don't necessarily know if I fully agree with it. It's kind of that whole concept of, the gas station bought the gas at X price, but then when the price of oil goes up, the price of gasoline that's in the ground at the gas tank goes up. Again, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Or maybe I'm seeing both sides and I just can't decide where I fall, because I could see, if I'm a retailer, I could see where the logical thing would be to increase the price to the new price so that I could help pay for the new inventory. But I can also see, as the consumer, why the hell should I pay this increased price on products you paid, X on? So I could see, I see both sides on that. I don't know. So I guess what I'm saying is, for those of you out there who are going to experience your favorite cigar increasing in price significantly, maybe just try to be a little patient, or try to understand it a little bit, because, a lot of these cigar shops, their margins are not huge. They're not exactly, raking in the big bucks, selling a couple sticks at a time. I mean, I got some reports this weekend about cigar shops that heading into Thanksgiving were freaking out because it was possibly their worst November ever. And they were like, the sky is falling. And then basically, like, right before November, all of a sudden, a couple of shops were like, shit, man, we had somebody come in and buy like 3 boxes. We had somebody come in and buy like 5 boxes, that kind of thing. And next thing you know, they're all happy. Well, then Thanksgiving happens, and post-Thanksgiving, so this past weekend, these same retailers that were just before Thanksgiving talking about how they had this guy come in and buy like all these boxes, they're saying, yeah, I've sold $7 worth of product in the whole day. So these shops are hurting badly. It's already not good for these retailers. Now you have this Nicaragua situation coming in and hitting these retailers. So yeah, this could be a really, really bad situation for a lot of people. And you could see some pretty major changes to the industry on all levels as a result of this. So I guess what I'm saying is, if a retailer decides to keep the original price and only upcharge on the new inventory, be thankful for that. If they go ahead and raise the pre-existing inventory to the new price, be understanding of that, I guess is my point. So anyway, enough about that. Let's move on and talk seasonal depression. I swear, if there's one episode that I've done recently that hasn't, prompted you to just go ahead and, end it all, this might be the one. But hopefully the steps I'm giving you here in the next little bit might help you avoid that. So seasonal depression, it typically kicks in at wintertime. It really, it's a legitimate thing. When you roll the clocks back and, you lose daylight. That's a real thing. I mean, I'm at the point where I'm waking up and it is dark outside, and by 4:30 in the afternoon, it is dark outside. You don't get much daylight. And then on top of that, when you do get daylight, it's cloudy, it's rainy, it's snowy, as it's been the last few days here. You don't see any green. I mean, all the plants are, dead or have shed their leaves and gone into winter mode. So like there's no life. And it's cold, it's miserable. It's just gross. It's just a gross time of year, and it's no fun. We put the holidays here and everybody's all happy, hey, but the holidays can be nothing but stress if you really focus on them to that degree. I mean, finances being what they are, this is why I love Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the perfect holiday. You get together, you have a giant meal, you get to spend time with family and friends, you have fun, and there's no gift-giving obligation. Whereas Christmas, you have all that, but then you also have the obligation of going out and spending gobs of money buying random shit for people that they may or may not appreciate and may or may not even want. And it's but you've stressed about it for over a month trying to figure out what you should get somebody, and it's a pain in the ass. I'm not the big we've taken Christmas and we've ruined it. This is an old argument. We've commercialized Christmas to the point that it's just nothing more than a purchasing or a sales, bonanza. And it's not even that anymore. I mean, it's not even that anymore. You look at these Black Friday sales. These Black Friday sales this year were pathetic, but that's a whole different situation. So anyway, seasonal depression. Now, I get the blues in the winter. Typically for me, it tends to start after New Year's. January for me feels like the longest month on earth. Every year, January feels like the longest month ever, with the exception of May 2020 during COVID, because that month lasted for 6 months, and I will argue anybody who says it lasted just one, because that was the longest month of my fucking life. But January, most years, is the longest month ever. It feels like it. It just drags forever. It just, no matter what you do, January feels like the longest month ever. And I think a lot of that has to do with the weather, the seasons. We get a lot of that. That tends to be when the ice and snow and just brutal cold temperatures really start here in the St. Louis area. And it sucks. But this year, I wake up on Saturday and I look outside and I've got 6 inches of fucking snow. And mind you, I'd like to point out, National Weather Service said this was the 5th largest snowfall that has ever taken place in this area in recorded history. 5th largest in the St. Louis area in recorded history. So of course, we get to start our year with that. And then after I dig out of the house from there, and thankfully the temperatures were such that the snow all hit in the morning. By noontime, the snow had ended, transitioned over to rain, and between the temperatures being higher than freezing and the rain, the roads and everything kind of cleared away pretty quickly. So it didn't really hinder travel too terribly much unless you were going somewhere Saturday morning. But it's still around. There's still fucking snow everywhere. And then, on Monday, we get even more. 2 to 4 inches of this bullshit. Now it's the blowy snow that you could theoretically take a leaf blower and go out there and blow it around and it'd be fine. But still, I don't want this shit. I don't want any of it. And it drives me nuts. And then you have the temperatures. Right now, as I record this, I have both my heaters going. It is currently 26 degrees outside. 26 degrees. It's getting down to 20 tonight. And that's too damn cold. Way too damn cold for this time of year. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. So, I'm not happy about the winter creeping into my life this early. I saw some weather map models talking about how this winter, the top portion of the country was going to be in just a bitter cold Arctic deep freeze, that it was just going to suck really bad. But yet the bottom portion of the country was going to have an extremely mild winter. It was going to be pretty nice. And then there's a band right where those two sections meet. And if you live in that band, you're going to get just hammered by winter storms. And guess where St. Louis happens to be? It's right in that band. And I'm just like, and I'm seeing this map and I'm thinking, hopefully this is all bullshit. It's like, how do they predict this far out? And yet here I am with the 5th largest freaking snowfall in recorded history in November. So, hey, maybe there's something to this. But anyway, my point to all this is that the seasonal depression has kicked in a little early this year. And now I'm sitting here going, I really don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. So I asked my trusty friend ChatGPT, what are some ways to combat seasonal depression? And it gave me some. So we're going to move through those a little bit and talk about it. So the first one is get light, real or artificial. Now, we talked about how 10 to 20 minutes with a 10,000 lux light box in the morning can make a huge difference. They're saying that if you sit about 12 to 18 inches away, angled 12 towards your face, it'll revitalize you and make you feel get that light that you're craving, and it'll help you out. It also talks about a sunrise alarm clock, helps regulate your circadian rhythm, even if early mornings are tough. I'm not a morning guy in general, so I don't think any alarm clock is going to help me, with my rough mornings. But I do like the idea of light. I don't have one of these light boxes. I don't really know how I feel about the idea of sitting in front of a box for 10 to 20 minutes, but whatever. But the next one is a little more simplistic. It says, move, but don't overcomplicate it. A 10-minute walk outside gives you sunlight and endorphins. Now, that's assuming the sunlight is out. If it's too cold, indoor walking, stretching, or YouTube workouts still count. Don't aim for the perfect workout. Aim for getting your heart rate up a little. So just a little movement goes a long way with helping you out with the seasonal depression. This one I fully buy into. This one, I buy into this for life in general. Force a tiny bit of social contact. Seasonal depression makes you withdraw, but quick bursts of connection truly help. Call a friend, text a few people, say yes to one easy social thing a week, even third place time. Third place. What is third place? You have your home, you have work, and you have your third place. Now, for me, I work at home, so I have one place. So I just need a second place. I need one other place to go. And they're saying a coffee shop, a cigar lounge, can help your brain feel less isolated. I do this a lot when I'm laying out the newspaper. I don't like working at my home. I hate working at home. Some people thrive working at home. I hate working from home. I love the separation of home and work life. I need it. I crave it. It bothers me when the two bleed together because then it makes me feel like I'm always at work. It's not that I feel like I'm always at home. I feel like I'm always at work, even in my home. And it becomes hard to relax, hard to decompress. And so third place, or in my case, second place, be it coffee shop, cigar lounge, whatever, that's important. And what it does is I pack up my laptop and I go somewhere else to work. I go to either, I used to hit the cigar lounges a lot. I have done less of that with the garage and everything else, but, either type of place, it gets you around people. You're not necessarily talking to those people. I don't go and talk to those people. I bring my headphones. I plug into my music. I will go to a cigar lounge. I'll go to a coffee shop. I'll do something. I'll set up the laptop. I'll plug in my headphones. I'll plug into my music and I will work. But all around me is activity. It's people. It's people doing things. It's people interacting. It's people bustling and eating and drinking and smoking and doing whatever they're doing. And just being around other people makes a world of difference for me. I feel much more alive. I feel separated from my home and I feel like I can get my work done. I'm productive when I do that. I'm way more tuned into what I'm doing than when I'm at home. When I'm at home, I am distracted. My mind is going all sorts of places. I'm dicking around, leaning back in the chair, doing all kinds of random shit. And it doesn't work. Whereas if I'm out and about, I focus in, I get the work done, and I get going. And it works. And so find that other place. Get out of the house, find that other place, and have somewhere to go. And if nothing else is a endorsement of the cigar lounge, that should be it. You should have a cigar lounge that you can get to. And for those of you who don't live near a cigar lounge, I pity you greatly because this is one of the big times that the cigar lounge really is vital, is in the wintertime when you need someplace warm and dry to go and smoke a cigar. That's where the cigar lounge really comes in handy. And by God, this is why we need to protect and preserve the ability to smoke in a cigar lounge because this is an actual mental health issue. It is. So, stick to a daily structure. Seasonal depression thrives on chaos. A simple daily routine helps to fight back. Wake up at a consistent time. Eat roughly at about the same times. Get outside once a day. Pick a small task to accomplish. I have a to-do list on my phone every single day. Things that I don't accomplish on Monday, just go to the top of the to-do list for Tuesday, and then we build out the Tuesday to-do list. To-do lists, I thrive and live by to-do lists. But structure gives your brain predictable signals when sunlight is lacking. And that's the thing. We need predictable things when we are, getting less sunlight and we're experiencing the seasonal depression. We need to be able to say, okay, I know what this day is going to hold for me. And as long as you're not super depressed by what that day is going to hold for you, well, maybe that'll help you a little bit. Adjust what you consume, and this doesn't necessarily mean food, but we're going to get to food. Comedy podcasts, upbeat music, or anything warm and humorous can genuinely shift your mood. Avoid scrolling late at night, meaning don't, doom scroll on your phone, as you're laying in bed. Personally, I like to have a rule that I don't look at my phone while my lamp on my nightstand is off. If my lamp, in order for me to be playing on my phone, my lamp needs to be on. The minute the lamp goes off, I'm done. I'm not scrolling the phone in the dark. That's just that leads to hours going by and doom scrolling, and it's not healthy. So avoid the late night phone scrolling. They're saying swap out some of the doom content. I don't know what you want to call that, with cooking videos, travel content, uplifting news, outdoor adventure videos, that sort of thing. Basically, the long and short is, if you are feeling the seasonal depression, then you need to feed your brain content that is the opposite of that. So feed your brain uplifting, awesome, fun things. Find, travel content where somebody is highlighting, like, warm, sunny climates and things of that nature. Start planning ahead for some trips, maybe in the summertime. Start thinking that way. Don't just focus on the nasty winter and just start getting out ahead of it a little bit. Add warm comfort rituals. Light a fire or sit by one. Hot drinks, meaning coffee or cocoa. A weekly cigar ritual you look forward to. Maybe that would be that going to that cigar lounge, for that third place or second place or whatever it happens to be. Warm blankets, ambient lighting. Basically, you're trying to counteract that cold and dark feeling that comes from the winter. Dial in the nutrition. This is what I was talking about with food. Vitamin D supplements help people in the winter. Sunlight provides us with natural vitamin D. So, if you're not getting vitamin D from natural sunlight, consider a vitamin D supplement. Magnesium glycinate can help your sleep schedule. Protein at breakfast improves mood regulation. And it says specifically, try not to live entirely on sugar and carbs, even though your brain begs for them. That's just an unfortunate byproduct of the diet in the United States is sugar and carbs. But try to give yourself something else other than that. Sleep like it's your job. Sleep. That's where I'm a Viking. But go to bed about the same time each night. Again, I'm a night owl. I'm not the best at holding to a specific bedtime, although I'm working at it. I've gotten better, and I am doing better about trying to get to bed at an earlier time. Keep lights low about an hour before bed. That's one of those things where, easier said than done. I mean, I keep the lights. I mean, I don't have dimmers on my lights, so they are what they are. I guess I could turn more of them off, but whatever. And again, avoid doom scrolling in bed. It wrecks your circadian rhythm. That blue light on your phone, it resets your biological clock, and it makes it real hard to get to sleep. That's why the phones a little while back started adding that night mode where your screen almost flipped from like the blue light to like the red or the orange kind of like glow. And that was to help, adjust your brain to not reset as much. Basically allowing you to doom scroll and not reset your biological clock. But avoid the doom scrolling in general, for a lot of reasons, and just don't play on your phone as you're laying in bed. Just do something else. A daily 3-minute check-in. So this is interesting. I don't this one I'm a little like whatever. I kind of do this with my to-do list. They're telling you to write down one win, one worry, and one thing you'll do tomorrow to keep your mind from drifting into vague and heavy feelings. For me, the win is when I'm checking items off that to-do list. When I'm getting through my to-do list and I'm just seeing check, 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 I'm feeling awesome. I'm feeling productive. It's great. One thing I'll do tomorrow, the things that I didn't get on my done on my to-do list, they shift to the next day, and that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. But also, I build out my to-do list for quite a while. I could go onto my phone right now, and I could show you my to-do list for today. I can show you my to-do list for tomorrow and every day through the end of the week. I typically don't plot out my weekends unless I have specific plans. And even then, my to-do list for Saturday would just be whatever that plan is. I don't load my weekends up unless I'm super behind from the week and I plan on using weekend time to catch up, which does suck. And I don't recommend that. We do need our weekend chill time. So there's that. But anyway, they're saying to write all that down. The one worry, I don't know if I agree with that because I don't like to dwell on your worries. I'm not saying that they're not important and they're not important to acknowledge, but it's one of those things where when you have a worry, I feel like it's one of those situations where you need to attack it as a problem and say, okay, I am concerned about X. How can I fix that? How can I avoid that from happening? Or am I being illogical by assuming that is a worry because perhaps XYZ needs to happen in order for that to happen? And what is the odds that those three things take place? I think we as people tend to worry ourselves into a tizzy over sometimes things that really are never going to happen. Truthfully, I think a lot of that is in politics. I think there's a lot of that in politics. And I think that results in anxiety on both sides of the aisle where it's like, oh my God, this person's going to pass this bill. What is there's a lot of things that go into passing a bill. This person's going to do this. Can they though? Legally? Can they? I feel like it's one of those things where we work ourselves up into anxiety over kind of silly things sometimes. But anyway, finally, and this is where I'm going to agree with one part of it. The other part of it, I'm going to say, I have no ability to recommend this whatsoever. And this is something you need to talk to a medical professional about. Therapy and medication. Therapy, if you're feeling that depressed that you can't find a way to get through the winter and you need to talk to somebody, there is no shame in talking to somebody. Talking to somebody is way I endorse it thoroughly. I guess what I'm saying. Take that opportunity. There's nothing wrong with reaching out for some help and talking to somebody. Now, if you're at the point of taking medication and then you're talking about medication, again, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not going to tell you to do that. I don't take medication for seasonal depression. Truthfully, I don't even have a therapist to be talking to about this. I'm not at that point. But obviously, ChatGPT gave me all this, and it ended with this. So this is kind of the extreme. If you're feeling this bad about it, then, you may want to talk to somebody and, medication. So zero shame on that whatsoever. If you need it, it's there, but I can't really speak to it. So anyway, hopefully that kind of helped with some of you guys. I mean, or at least gave you something to think about. Truthfully, some of those tips, I personally think, are good life tips in general, not just for seasonal depression. I think that we all need to take a better job or do a better job of taking stock in our lives and celebrating the wins, organizing our thoughts, kind of that sort of thing. I think we all have to do a better job of that. I think we all focus on the negative entirely too much, and I think doing that would be helpful and beneficial. So who knows? I hope somebody got something out of it. And if not, well, I guess you're mentally stronger than I am. So moving on now. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to villigercigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. Alrighty, so between the holiday and, having some company in town and everything else, I have been a busy guy. And so I haven't really spent a whole lot of time watching TV. I did, as a result of one of my house guests, I did do a little bit of binging on one show, and that would be Bridgerton Season 1. Last I talked to you about Bridgerton, I think it was episode 3 that I was talking about. And I am now up to the end of episode 7. I think I have one, or maybe 9. I don't remember. I have one more episode left to season 1. I have the finale of season 1 to go. And let me tell you guys, a lot has happened in the upper crust of London and the Bridgerton family and all the rest of it. Lots has happened. You've had weddings, you've had scandal, you've had unwed mothers to be, hasn't had a baby yet. You have deception and betrayal. You've had all sorts of things. It's been quite the scandalous time in London, and everybody's trying to figure out who Lady Whistledown is, because she's the lady who writes the little gossip rag that goes out and reveals everybody's deep, dark secrets. And so it's obviously somebody with ties to the upper crust. And who could it be? So there's that going on. But there's a lot happening. There's one more episode left of the first season, and guys, you're gonna make fun of me. You're going to think I'm silly. But it's one of those shows that if your arm is twisted and you are told you're going to sit and watch this show, it's not the worst show for you to watch. It is entertaining enough. When you get into it, it is entertaining enough. You start to pick up on things, and there's various things that take place, and it's like, you know what? Okay, fine. There's some drama, there's some intrigue, there's some level of ooh, that kind of thing. But it's not the worst show in the world. There's definitely worse. I mean, it's very soap opera-ish. But let's be real. Men have our soap operas too. Professional wrestling is totally a soap opera. It's 100% a soap opera. It's just, rather than having a slap fight in a cafe and going off and having sex with this married woman's husband in order to get back at her, whatever other kind of random bullshit might happen in a soap opera, they just beat the hell out of each other in a ring for a little while until somebody wins, and then they move on with the feud, but we all have our soap operas. We all like our soap operas. So it's a soap opera. Let's be real. It's fine. I happen to know a guy, a cigar rep, who is a big fan of soap operas. Big fan. And it's a guy you would never imagine would be a huge fan of soap operas, and not just a huge fan of soap operas, but can give minute, detailed factoids about characters on specific soaps. Watched it religiously and knows quite a bit. So there are soap opera fans out and amongst us. So we shouldn't judge. It's okay. We all have our things. But Bridgerton, it's been more entertaining than I care to admit. But I've got one more episode to go. Now, the other thing I did do that was entertaining that I'm going to mention is near me, we have the Shrine of Our Lady of the Snows, and it's a Catholic facility It's a lot of different. It's a big property. They have lots of different buildings there. They do all kinds of different stuff. But basically, it's a Catholic. I don't know how else you put it, like a Catholic facility. Well, every year they do the Way of Lights, and what it is you drive in and you drive all through the property, winding all around, and they have decorated the entire property with Christmas lights, and they tell the story of the birth of the baby Jesus through Christmas lights. And so you come in, and, there's all these lights and blah, blah, blah. And then, you're on your way to Bethlehem, and you drive through, and, you learn all about, the whole, the census and this and that and whatever, and how you're going with the family to Bethlehem. And, you learn the whole thing. And eventually, you get to the birth. And then when you're leaving, that's when they hit you for the donation. But then you leave. And it's one of those things that if you live in this area, it's a Christmas tradition. You go and you drive through the Way of Lights. Now, they added colored lights last year. That's a big damn deal, because it was nothing but white lights for the longest time. But they added colored lights last year, and it enhanced it quite a bit. It's definitely one of those things that you do. Always right around Thanksgiving. You get done with Thanksgiving, and you go and you drive through the Way of Lights, and it kind of kickstarts the Christmas season for you. And so, what night was that? It was Friday night. We got in the car, and I had my son, and so group of us, we went and we drove through the Way of Lights, and we saw it, and it was one of those things. And I don't know, I guess my son must be practicing for some Sunday school presentation or play or concert or something like that. But we're in the car. Sorry, I'm trying to keep the cigar going. We're in the car, and there's a sign that says, the way to Bethlehem, or the path to Bethlehem, or whatever it is. And we read that, for the kids in the back seat. And bam, out of nowhere, my son just starts, in his little 9-year-old voice, just starts softly singing "O Little Town of Bethlehem" to himself. And he doesn't stop until we leave the Way of Lights and get back on the main road, and the Christmas lights are gone. And it was just, it's one of those things, guys. Like, I have audio that I've tried to record on my phone, and I'll have to go back and see, what I can find. But like, it's one of those things that, like, someday when I'm like 80 years old, hopefully I make it to 80, I'm going to love being able to bring up an audio of my 9, 6, whatever age he was, year old son, just kind of singing to himself. And it's the sweetest thing ever. And I love it so much. And, he does that. Like when he's playing by himself, sometimes he'll be putting his puzzle together. He'll be reading his book. He'll be coloring, something like that. And I'll just catch him out of nowhere, just singing, just softly singing Hallelujah or Silent Night or something like that to himself. And, it's just one of those things that it just hits and you love it and it's amazing. And so, this was one of those times where he just started serenading the car with "O Little Town of Bethlehem." And I mean, it was amazing and I loved it, and I would do anything to listen to that again. So anyway, that was an awesome part of my weekend. I'm very glad I was able to do that. And that's what I was entertained by this week.
It's time to fly high with Blackbird Cigars. Blackbird Cigars offers you remarkable quality using the most delicate and finest tobacco to always ensure that you're receiving unsurpassed cigars. Blackbird Cigars strives to give you undoubted repeating flavor for every cigar you smoke and impressive quality so that you can always expect greatness. Check out their website for a full list of stores carrying Blackbird Cigars and
give them a test flight. Blackbird Cigars can't clip our wings. Man, I've got some people that are not a fan of this segment. I think this segment's starting to run a little low on support, and I need to spruce it up a little bit. So I need to have a chat with Jonas about this segment and see what's what. Because, like I said, I've got people that are telling me that this segment's done, but I like some of these uplifting stories. It's nice to hear positive shit. We hear a lot of negative stuff all the time, and I do think there's something to be said about hearing positive stories about people that have done things. So anyway, in the 1990s, the small town of Dunkirk, Indiana, was about to lose its century-old library due to major repair costs, and the town couldn't afford the repairs. Vivian Smith, a retired school teacher, believed the library was the heart of the community, so she stepped in. She organized volunteers and launched a wave of grassroots fundraisers, bake sales, chili dinners, yard sales, donation jars, anything that could bring in a few dollars. And what began as a tiny effort quickly grew as more residents joined in. Within 18 months, Vivian and her team raised over $250,000, enough to fully repair and modernize the library. It reopened with new programs, updated technology, and a renewed sense of community pride. Locals still say that the library stands today because one woman refused to let her town lose it. So be like Vivian Smith and Blackbird Cigars, and don't let anybody clip your wings. I'll tell you what, the library in our community is super popular. There's always tons of cars there, and they are so much more than just books. They offer resume assistance, like with crafting and honing and building out your resume. They offer like all sorts of different. They have these different things. You can check out fishing poles from the library. If you want to go fishing and you don't have a fishing pole, you can go to the library and you can rent a fishing pole and you can go fishing and bring it back and that sort of thing. They have all kinds of stuff that you can do. It's truly an amazing thing. The library of today, if it is run by competent people who really want to make the library important for the community, the library of today is way more than just books, magazines, and whatever. I mean, it is a total lifestyle center that provides all sorts of. The library here, it also they bring in people to help do your taxes. Anybody can have their taxes done for free, mind you, at the library. You just make an appointment, you get on the list, you make the appointment, you bring in all the stuff, you sit down with a tax expert, they go over all your taxes and do it, and then at the end, you're all ready to set to file and be done with your taxes. It's truly amazing. So, big shout out for the libraries. They do good things, and I think that's an awesome thing. So anyway,
guess what, motherfucker?
it's time for 3 cigars we smoked and enjoyed this week. So, as I said, I'm smoking this Montecristo Nicaragua Series because I wanted something a little different. And by the way, this has been good. It hasn't been too, when I hear AJ Fernandez, I always think, oh, okay, it's going to be super strong. It's going to slit my throat. This one has been more mild than that. It's got some body to it. It's got some strength, but it's not overpowering me with strength. I did do a retrohale. It had a little kick to it, but not that bad. And it's nice. It's been very pleasant, and it has held up to the heat or the cool of my garage, I should say. And it's been smoking really, really well. So I'm very pleased with it. And it has, for the most part, not lost its flame. I've only had to touch it up maybe twice, just because the filler was burning faster than the wrapper because I was not smoking fast enough. But realistically, it's only gone out. And even then it really didn't, it was right on the verge of going out, but I hit it with some more flame to keep it going. It's been really good. But lately I've been kind of in a little bit of a rut. And so, 3 that I've been smoking, my old standby Perdomo Habano Sun-Grown Churchill. Boy, that's going to be one that's going to suck when that goes up, a lot. Cause that thing right now, I can get that thing for $10 a lot of places. And it's going to really suck when that one goes from 10 to like 17 or 18. You know, that's going to really, really suck. I don't know if it's going to go that high. I don't want to quote that, but that's my concern. That's my worry. Because that's going to take that, probably it's going to take it out of my daily rotation. The next one that I smoked and enjoyed, I smoked this the other day with some coffee, the La Capitana Toro from Villiger. I love that cigar with coffee. It's got that creaminess and it's got a little spice to it, which just pairs wonderfully with a nice, good latte. And I do love the La Capitana. Finally, another cigar that I've been smoking a lot of lately is the La Flor Dominicana Oro. And what I like about that one is it's got a lot of flavor and it's got some strength, but it doesn't have that normal, that like I said, that slit your throat, power that La Flor Dominicana oftentimes kind of gets labeled with. It's got some strength to it, but it doesn't have that like knock you over and kill you kind of strength. So it's a really good, well-balanced cigar, and I really do enjoy it. So that's what I've been smoking lately. But anyway, well, it's time for the socials, guys. I'm available on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I am on Facebook, where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. You can get in on the fun there. I'm on Twitter/X. You can follow me there. I'm on Rumble and YouTube if you want to watch this. And I do need your calls for the Ask the Pulpit episodes. So you can give the hotline a call at area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000. Maybe give me a call. Let me know. Are you somebody who smokes a lot of Nicaraguan cigars? How is... If assuming that something very strange doesn't happen in the next 8 days, how do you think the Nicaraguan price structure changes are going to affect your smoking? Are you going to explore some Honduran and Dominican blends? Are you going to look elsewhere? Are you going to smoke less but continue to smoke your Nicaraguans? Are you going to say, man, you know what? Screw it. I'm paying what I'm paying because I like what I like and it doesn't really matter, and you're going to keep your smoking consistent. I'm curious as to how this is going to impact you guys. So give me a ring at area code 863-874-0000 and let me know. And then finally, once again, sign up for that newsletter. Head on over to cigarpulpit.com. A little pop-up window comes up. You can sign up for the newsletter. It's free. It's only going to hit like once, maybe twice a month. It's going to start in January. It's going to be fun. And it's just going to give you guys some cigar news, some things to kind of like some other articles about other things that maybe might spur on some conversation amongst, your family, your friends, specifically people in the cigar lounge. I wanted to, the whole point of this is like, when you're sitting around, it's kind of like the show. When you're sitting around the cigar lounge, you aren't just talking cigars. You're talking about all kinds of aspects of life. So, the way I look at it is this should bring some relevant cigar news to you, but I like the idea of offering up some other kind of fun news. Just something else for you to think about and consider and discuss amongst yourselves. So anyway, head on over there, sign up for that. All right, guys. Well, this has been another show, and I appreciate you putting up with me with my seasonal depression chat. Hopefully, I didn't talk some of you into jumping off a ledge. Hopefully, I'm giving some of you some tips for your life that you can use to help both with the seasonal depression, but then also just, again, in general, a lot of those things, truthfully, I think are good tips for life in general. I don't think it just has to do with seasonal depression. Yeah. Anyway, final thought. I've been truly digging this Montecristo Nicaragua series. I'm looking forward to finishing this guy after I hit stop on the board. And hopefully, you guys take heed. Those of you who really, really enjoy Nicaraguan cigars, hopefully you're in a financial position to do a little stocking up, because I do feel like now is the time to get some purchasing done. I do think this is the time to stock up and have it ready for when the price goes up, because I hate to say it, it's coming. I truly believe it's coming, and I think it's coming quick. So make sure that you stock up hard if that's what you're looking for. And look, maybe your relatives will understand if you tell them that you're just financially too strapped to buy them Christmas gifts this year. They don't have to know that you took their Christmas gift money and bought 4 boxes of Perdomos, or maybe you're into acid cigars. Bottom line, you need to be getting your cigars bought now, because if they're coming from Nicaragua, they're going to go up. So anyway, guys, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Everybody stay safe, stay smoky. Also, I just want to thank everybody for the birthday wishes from the other day. It was greatly appreciated. It was a nice, chill birthday, except for the fact that I got 6 inches of snow to start it off. And otherwise, it was a very nice day, and I appreciate everybody wishing me happy birthday. So thanks, everyone.